All right, here's something very important to know about loading samples into the AUTOCHOPPER because it works a little bit differently in some regards than your native DAW plugins that you might be used to. So, for example, if I try to load in this Ogogo sample, loads in fine, no problems, right? If I clear that out, let me try to load in this acoustic kick drum. Won't do it, right? This file uses proprietary DAW compression, blah, 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 blah. So basically, if you try to load in like an Apple loop in Logic or a sound in Ableton that originates from an Ableton pack, those are encoded a little bit differently than just like a raw audio file that only that DAW's plugin can read, right? So I haven't cracked a way to be able to get a third-party plugin to deal with that. But the solution's pretty simple. I'm just going to drag this into an audio track, and then I'm going to hit Control Command J to crop the clip in Ableton, or like in Logic, it would be bounce in place. But you're just basically going to render that proprietary piece of audio to a flattened piece of audio, and then I can drag it right in, and it works just fine. So that's just one thing to know when you're loading samples into this thing. Another thing to be aware of in certain pieces of software when you're loading in audio, you'd think like most software, you can just drag in a sample right here, but in Reaper, won't let you do it, right? We get a problem. For whatever reason, it's just being a pain. So if you're having this problem where you can't drag from the arrangement into the UI, specifically in Reaper, this is an issue. Like I said, in Ableton, it's fine. Logic, it's fine. FL Studio, it's fine. Just Reaper. But if you hit Browse, one way to do it is you just find the file on your system and load it in that way. If you don't want to fish around in the hard drive, the other thing you can do, like in Reaper specifically, if you go to Source Properties, we're just going to copy this, and then I hit paste file path, and it loads it that way from the file path. So that's just something to know when you're loading things. In certain DAWs, there are just little quirks like this that you have to know. And if you run into some quirk in your DAW where you can't browse for the file or paste the file path or drag it in, just email us and I will find a way to fix it for you and test that DAW specifically. So that's just something you have to know about when you're loading samples into this thing.